Hi, I'm Rick. Welcome to the Nautilus Headquarters, the command center for ReefTekLab, where we don't just dose tanks, we actually map the mind of the reef. Well, today we're actually going to talk about dinoflagellates and look at their biological takeover. So, primarily, I want to talk about three commonly found dinoflagellates inside our reef tank. And one of those is Prorocentrum, the second one is Ostreopsis, and the third one is Amphidinium. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what's the difference between those dinoflagellates and all the ones that are actually found in the sea? Well, in the ocean, there's reports from marine scientists that indicate there's thousands and thousands of them, but roughly they claim they only have 2,000 of them documented. And keep in mind that many of those dinoflagellates that live in the vast great ocean, they live in different pressures. They live at different heights, different depths in the ocean, and different temperatures. So a lot of them may not ever make it to your reef tank because they would never survive. Somehow, and strangely enough, these commonly found dinoflagellates that we find in our reef tank as hobbyists day to day, month to month, and year to year are three of these common ones, which I mentioned: Prorocentrum, Ostreopsis, and Amphidinium. So why are they actually here? Well, because they've adapted. They've adapted very and extremely well to the conditions of a typical hobbyist reef tank. Now let's talk about the toxicity levels from these three individual species of dinoflagellates. Now let's take, for example, Prorocentrum. Prorocentrum delivers ocadaic acids, and it's actually pretty lethal. And when I say lethal, we're talking about high quantities, okay? And it produces ocadaic acids, and it destroys and it causes STN, slow tissue necrosis, and RTN, which is rapid tissue necrosis. You'll find the screens on both the left and the right here if you're not familiar with RTN or STN. But anyway, we move on to Ostreopsis. Now, Ostreopsis is one of the most lethal ones, right? And it actually it's also benthic. It also lives in the sand, but it's also living in the water column at night. It creeps up in the water column at night when everything is dark, and it tries to survive and it tries to reproduce and colonize all over the rocks, and it keeps spreading and spreading and spreading. So keep that in mind. They're very difficult to get rid of. Now, the third and not least, last but not least, is the Amphidinium. He's benthic and he's a sand dweller. He's the toughest to actually get rid of in your reef tank. Why? Because he simply doesn't swim like Ostreopsis at night. So there's no way, even if you have a very strong ultraviolet filtration system, uh, it's not going to kill it because it doesn't swim in the water column. That's what makes it very difficult, and it would be a complete nightmare where you want to pull your hair out and realize you just can't get rid of it. So with dinoflagellates, we want to be very careful what we dose in the tank. A lot of times people commonly dose a lot of very harsh chemicals. Now the Americans, from my research, have pretty strong chemicals. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But nevertheless, it's a chemical. I do like a particular product. I don't necessarily endorse it, but I do like it. I like Dino X because it's a German product. And the Germans don't put chemicals, harsh chemicals, in their batches. They're not allowed to by law. So Dino X is a very good product, and I like it. Again, I always recommend you guys do your own research on your chemical products. I don't particularly endorse one or the other because that's up to you. That's up to you to do the research when you're pouring in any type of chemical, whether it's European, non-chemical, or American chemical. So there's different ways to attack them, but you have to have different ways and different weapons to attack them and eradicate them from your tank. So one of the brief things that I want to mention is having a very good UV sterilizer. And a lot of people have the misconception that if they have a, let's say, a 40 watt or a 50 watt, they think they have a very strong UV, but that may be the wattage on the device alone. Your actual spectrum that is hitting these dinoflagellates may only be 15 or 10 or something very low. So a lot of people commonly make that mistake and they think they have a good UV filter, and after research, they realize they don't. My partner Luke and I, we discovered that in one of the UV filters that we had, and we realized it wasn't doing anything. Not on a 220-gallon tank, not a thing at all. So be very careful. Make sure that you have the appropriate size UV filter for your dinoflagellate problem, and make sure you use the right weapons to eradicate them. Now, going back to Amphidinium, which is the most difficult, that one you want to be very careful because that's hemolytic and it ruptures actually very expensive reef fish. It ruptures their blood cells, and so you want to be careful with that. So that's why I say, if you think that having dinoflagellates in your tank for days, weeks, or months is actually okay, it's not. You want to get rid of them as soon as possible, and you want to take care of the problem as soon as possible. So I hope this video helped you, and I hope you get to watch our other videos. There's another video that I made in about dinoflagellates. I'm going to be creating a pathogen series on a lot of different pathogens that affect your tank. It seems like those are the biggest problems that most of you are having, and I want to be able to help you and provide you with the solutions to your question and the answers to your questions that you might have. Don't forget to go to ReefTekLab.com, where you can go and subscribe right away. Go to ReefTekLab.com, which is our main webpage, and subscribe. Our event campaign will start as soon as you insert all your information, like your phone number and your name and your email. So when you go in there, you'll get an automatic email campaign, and you'll become part of the ReefTekLab family and community. So we thank you very much for coming to our channel, and don't forget to also look into potentially purchasing the Precision Reef Journal, which is the #1 journal in the reef industry. We sell it in 3 different ways. We sell the digital, we sell the printed version, which you can find on the sides and up on the top here on my screen, and we sell the bundle, which is the digital and the actual printed version. It's all in our website once you activate your campaign and you start getting more information in our newsletters and our tips. So thank you for joining and being part of the ReefTekLab community. Hope to see you soon. And if you buy the journal, don't forget you'll save thousands of dollars by becoming part of our VIP community in school, where you'll be able to interact with us, and a lot of the information that is in our school is not accessible to the public nor on our social media pages. You get that automatically for free when you go to the QR code in the back of the journal, and you scan it, and you go apply for entry into the school VIP community for our most elite reefers. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope it helps. Stay tuned for the next one. This is Rick, founder of ReefTekLab. Thank you.